Son, help me. Ah, son, help me. Help.
Father, no!
Help me.
Hold on! I'm on my way! Not the KFC! Here, take this.
What is it?
It's a burrito.
It weighs like 5 pounds.
It's only 200 calories. There you go. There you go. I got just the thing. There you go.
I'm free.
Let's go.
Free at last.
Hey everybody, welcome to the video. This is a different type of video. It's gonna be kind of like a podcast sort of interview with my father. I was gonna make it shorter, but I just feel like there's so much here that needs to be said that could potentially help somebody. I wanted people to hear his thoughts. I wish I would have recorded my thoughts as I was losing weight a little bit more consistently, but nothing comes close to what, you know, my father can provide because he's so fresh to the weight loss. I'm gonna put little chapters in the YouTube scroll bar. Feel free to skip ahead to the questions that you want to hear get answered. Don't forget, my book's out, so if you want to check, the link is in the description and you can go get you the book. This is gonna help you lose weight if you have no idea what you're doing. If dieting feels like a hassle, or if dieting feels like you don't understand what to prioritize, get this book. This will help you the way it helped my dad, the way it's helping Cam, the way it helped me. And you're not gonna feel hungry. There's no magazine BS in this. It is straight to the point, what you need to prioritize, and how that will lead you to be successful and develop a diet that is sustainable and enjoyable. Go check that out. If you can't get the book, then watch the videos, because we're going to be going over certain diets and strategies, and especially this video gives you a lot of information about what you need to do. I really hope this helps somebody, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and good luck, guys. I believe in all of you. So, welcome, Dad. This is my father, Robert, and he's undergone an incredible fitness transformation and has lost, what is it, 60 pounds now?
60 pounds.
60. So I got a few questions. Hopefully you can answer for the newcomer or like somebody who's struggling with weight loss, that can help them, stay motivated whenever tough times come, or just give them some knowledge to prepare for the upcoming events that they're going to go through. First question is, well, I think history is really important. So what was your life like before you lost the weight, and what was your typical activity and diet like?
Most of the time I was on the road eating whatever convenient fast food I could come across, or Cracker Barrel restaurant. My typical diet included a steak because the company was buying it, so why not? And it kind of did me in.
So you were pretty sedentary because you're driving a lot.
Driving a lot, and then of course, now for lunch, because I didn't know it any better, I would try to eat. Like I would go through Wendy's or something like that, and I'd get me a single with cheese and a fry and a drink. But that doesn't do you any good when you've had 5 cups of coffee in the morning, each with 5 sugars, 5 creams, and then you go sit down and eat a huge baked potato with a 14-ounce steak and macaroni and cheese. At the end of the day, then you go back to the hotel and you immediately fall asleep. I mean, that's...
Basically, you were sedentary as a mechanic, but a lot of driving around. You ate a lot of fast food.
Right.
Breakfast really was nothing. Typically like coffee with creamer, which added up to like 400 calories or something like that. Lunch was like a medium size, but it would be fast food, and it wouldn't be super satiating. And then dinner, because the company was paying for it, you just let loose.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you food
Tired.
food coma.
Yeah.
Right. how do your old eating habits, so you know how I talked about the aquarium and how like your environment influences you. So a lot of people, there's the, you know, obesity runs in my family thing.
Mm-hmm.
But and then they want to think, hey, I'm meant to be obese. Do you think so I think that one of the main things is not that it's inherited or a genetic disposition. It's more of a environmental disposition to being obese. So I'm curious, how do your old eating habits, before you lost the weight, compare or relate to how you grew up and how your parents ate?
Well, that's the thing. You grow up, you eat what your parents gave you, and when I was a kid, back in the early 70s, you ate what your parents put in front of you. If you didn't, you got your butt handed to you on a silver platter, and it wasn't pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
You go to school, the lunch lady threw a bunch of crap on your plate, and you ate it, and you ate. And you didn't leave stuff behind. They didn't like that. This was a generation that went through a depression, and you didn't waste food.
So would you say that you had very little education on calories and nutrition in general?
Yeah, I would say so. But not that they didn't educate us in school on calories. They did.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't elaborate
Yeah.
on it. They didn't go into the detail that your book goes into. They didn't go into that, you know, hey, you can eat quantity.
So history is a real big thing, like I was saying, and a lot of people, at least when I was overweight, I would look to other people that had the body or the composition that I strive for, and I would try to look at their history and be like, hey, did this person look like me before? Did they struggle with something? What did they do to get to where they are? There's always this, you know, thought, like with the whole satiation is so varied between people who have a hard time gaining weight and people who have a hard time losing weight. So I always looked for those people who were similar to me. So in order to, you know, help the viewer understand if you're similar to them, can you give us a quick summary of what your body composition was like previously in your life? I mean, like well before I was born. Have you always been big? What was your leanest?
I've always been big, and I was always the big kid, but I think my leanest was around 214 pounds. That was my leanest.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always had a gut when I sat down. I've always been larger than I should have been. I've never felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt like the fat guy. I always felt like I was like a skinny guy trapped in a fat guy's body. I don't know if that makes any sense. But you really didn't see it until you've seen a photograph of yourself and you're like, what the hell is that? I'd see my picture of my gut and it's sticking out like I'm pregnant with like a cow or something. I'm like, what the hell is that? That's not me. And sure enough, it's me. We're our own worst enemies always. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're skinny or you're fat or everybody is their own worst critic. So you go through life being your own worst critic, and understanding and accepting that is something that I think everybody should go through.
But I mean, at your leanest when you're younger, you had like chest came out farther than your stomach.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That just gives people a good idea. Like you were pretty lean. You didn't have a huge gut when you were younger, but you also didn't pay attention to your calories. So you were probably more active, or you just ate less because the company wasn't paying for it, maybe.
I wouldn't say that I ate less. I think I was probably more active.
You probably had more muscle mass.
So
your metabolism was probably higher.
Yeah.
Before I edited your diet, what was your impression about dieting, and what did you think about the word diet?
That's the good thing. See, I think the word diet has been abused. It's kind of an eye-opener when you said everybody is on a diet, because a diet is what you put into your body.
Yeah, all the time.
Nobody's not on a diet. Everybody's on a diet. So you're not going on a diet, you're changing your diet. And that to me was the world, because it kind of reminded me of when stores changed a sale to save. You're going to save money. You don't save any money. You're spending money. So you're not saving any. Saving is putting money away for a rainy day.
Right. So you think diet has just a negative look from the general public?
It's got a bad reputation that was given to it by the industry, the abuse of the word diet. They put diet on pills. And it's not a diet pill.
Mhm.
It's not. They put diet on programs. Jenny Craig diet, for example. It's not a diet. It's an education. It's the best thing I can call what you're giving is an education. Something that should have been done long ago for every living person would be to understand what they're putting in their body.
It's maintenance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's maintenance. It's
Yeah.
a statistic for maintenance.
It'd be like running your car down the road, not know whether you got oil or not.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like,
Yeah.
that's like if the guys didn't put grease in the grease fittings.
Right.
That's all it is.
Or air in the tires.
Yeah.
We'll just drive down the road. Oh, yeah, we get a blowout.
For this, did you think that dieting meant you would starve?
Yes.
You just thought it was going to be super uncomfortable.
Super small portions that leave you wanting more to the point that you're driving yourself crazy.
Give us a summary of what caused you to want to make the change and lose weight.
Well, I think when I was going to the cardiologist and he was telling me that I needed to, I had a bad heart valve and my resting heart rate was 105. And
What was your weight?
295. I was talking about ripping my chest open. I'm on for a lot of stuff. I've seen people I love with their chest ripped open, and it's not a pretty sight. And I did not only did I not want to go through that, I didn't want to put you through that or Alex through that. I definitely didn't want you guys coming in after surgery with me having tubes down my throat.
So it was some really negative news from the doctor.
Yeah, serious can it be if they want to rip your chest open?
Yeah. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
So you think that's what caused you to go, okay, we need to do something different? Because he mentioned that.
He mentioned the diet, and you said, Dad, let's try this. I'll put you on my diet, which isn't really a diet. Again, we all go back to that.
Yeah, it's nothing specific.
It's hard.
It's
hard to get away from that. But
it's not a specific, eat this, eat that. It's let's figure out what works for you while getting a deficit.
Well, and the funny thing is, that first day you made my lunch,
Mhm.
and I opened up that container, and there was 2 big fat burritos in that thing, and I ate one, and I was full. I was packed full, and I was like, "What the hell am I supposed to do with these other burritos? This is for tomorrow." So I called you, and I said, Well, you're supposed to eat it. I said, "Well, I can't eat it. I'm full."
Yeah.
And
I thought that was hilarious.
yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
It was an eye opener for me. So
You
I'm
said-
like, "Wow."
You said, "Am I supposed to eat both of these?"
Right.
And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's like not even 500 calories," and you're like, "Oh, I'm full already."
I don't think I can eat both of these.
All right, so real quick, sorry to interrupt the video. We wanted to make a visual comparison of what my dad used to eat. What can be comparable when you make your own food or choose, substitutes that are low calorie dense. So we actually went out to Arby's and we got his old traditional meal. You want to tell him what this is?
This is a half-pound French dip, apple turnover, large fries, and a large Coke.
So not a Diet Coke. He would always get a large Coke. We're going to calculate just how many calories that is. So we actually pulled up the nutrition facts from Arby's, which you'll see on the screen. So we found the half-pound French dip and Swiss with the sauce is 740 calories. Wow. Okay. Large curly fries is 650 calories. We're already at 1,390 calories. That's like half of my calories for the day. So the apple turnover is 430 calories. So 32 ounces of Coke is 350 calories. That is exactly how many calories I ate in a day. Almost.
2,170 calories. That's a lot of calories.
That's
for that little tiny package.
That's a lot of calories. And that's only lunch. You know? You have to factor all these things in. And so his habit was to do that. And then when we switched him over to a low calorie dense option that would maintain the mass, which we have here. So here we've got 3 chicken burritos with lettuce, Alfredo sauce, tomatoes, mustard, all types of, vegetables you can put in there, but a crap ton of chicken. We've got like 300 grams of chicken here.
Yeah.
And then to put on top of all that, we've got this giant shake. this entire shake. You can have this entire banana cream flavored low calorie shake. So for the burritos alone, that's 655 calories. And we're already almost at the entire volume
and
of
that's
this.
for all 3 of those burritos.
Yeah.
I could only eat 2.
Yeah. And so we've already almost matched the volume of this whole meal here with just the burritos. In total, for this entire section, it's 870 calories versus 2,200.
And his shakes taste like regular shakes, like a milkshake.
It's the same texture.
Yeah,
It
the
tastes
milkshake.
just great. I mean, this is what I've been using in order to cut down to get to my leanest weight when I'm like, especially at night, I'll eat this shake and I eat more than anybody and I still have a hard time finishing the shake. Sometimes I have to put it into 2 separate sittings just because it's so thick. So this is just a great example of how you don't have to suffer or starve in order to lose weight and have the body that you want and be healthy. So that actually leads into our next question. Besides the obvious weight loss, describe what it was like going from your old diet to the new one. Changing your diet.
It really, I guess the only thing I can say is I didn't give up being satiated.
Mm.
So I wasn't put into we'll describe it as your common everyday, everybody thinks of the word diet as starving. So let's call it, you put somebody in a room and you only give them enough oxygen to breathe once a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to hold their breath. Eventually they're going to freak out and they're going to want to break out of that room and catch their breath.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with food. You know, when you're hungry and you have those hunger pains, you're like, and you say, to hell with this, and you end up going to Burger King and spending some money and getting the stuff that you're used to to satisfy that urge.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have to contend with that. The only thing I had to contend with was now I'm eating different things than I normally would have eaten, but I found, you found because you made it, but I found some stuff that I really liked that I was able to eat that wasn't, gravy, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I even surprised you with the gravy. I was like, you do, the regular turkey gravy that everybody buys for Thanksgiving is, 35 calories a serving? It's like a quarter cup for the serving.
Yeah.
So at that time, you were cooking me 93% lean turkey burgers. And I was like, I like turkey, but after every day of eating them for a couple of weeks, you're like, this needs, if it had gravy, I could eat this every day.
Right. So
I went and looked at gravy and I was like, wow, I can have gravy because I don't even need a quarter of a cup.
Right, but you looked at the calories. That's the thing.
And so I'm able to do half of the 35 calories, drip it on a burger, and then cut it with a fork and a knife.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good still, and I'm not over caloring myself, and I'm getting satiated, and it's stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing is the discoveries when you find a food that, like, oh hey, look at this.
It's a low calorie dense food.
Well, but how many times did I make back when you were younger and 300 pounds? How many times a week did I make chicken Alfredo?
Like 3 times, probably.
A week.
Yeah, and then
We
the
liked
other
it.
meals. The other meals would be kibasi and macaroni and cheese.
Right, yeah. So it was just convenient meals. How amazed were you when we discovered one of the lowest calorie Alfredo sauces was that Classico sauce?
Oh, yeah.
And that was
I
the only
ate it.
kind I would use for that.
I ate it all the time.
But it was just coincidence.
Yeah. I guess the main point is like you don't, not only can you be satiated, but you can eat a lot of the foods that you do like. You can get that flavor palette in check.
Right.
It's not going to be bland. We were able to make foods that we can eat more of while losing weight that tasted good, that we wanted to eat more of. This isn't like you're eating, microwavable meals that taste like crap. So you're like, I don't even want to eat it anymore. And that's how you lose the weight. No, this is something that you can enjoy for the rest of your life.
You're not giving up everything.
Yeah.
But if you don't look and you don't use the scale, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
And
you
if
have
you
to
do it
measure.
right, and you're, like you say, conscious of your calories,
Mhm.
you will lose weight effortlessly.
Right. Even with my own weight loss, I outworked a bad diet. That's in another video if you want to go watch that in my history. I did not want to track my calories whatsoever. I thought it was an inconvenience. It felt like extra steps, like I had to play a game before I ate my food. It was annoying, especially weighing things. And now what? I weigh everything.
You still weigh everything.
I weigh
You
everything.
weigh everything more than I do.
And it's just because I need to know. It's a comfort in knowing, and it's like it's second nature now. And in fact, I would rather weigh everything than not weigh anything at all. So after a few months, I noticed you started looking at calories on your own,
I
like
look
the
at
gravy.
Everything. I look at before it goes into my body. I now look at that tag and I figure out how many servings are in there, how much calories in that whole container. Do I want it? How many days am I going to use it? I mean, it's just once you do something for as long as we've done this, it just becomes second nature.
Describe your trend. The trend your weight loss took. Was it linear? Did it go down all the time? Did you have plateaus? Did it go back up?
It was like a stair step. So you go down, you level off, maybe you pop up a little bit, maybe you pop back down a little bit, and then you pop back up a little bit, and then all of a sudden, bam, another stair step you fall off of, and you're down another 3 or 4 or 5 pounds, and then you just kind of hover there, and as you're hovering, your weight fluctuates up and down, up and down, up and down, and then bam.
How did your feelings change about walking before the diet change, and then before the challenge, and then after the challenge? Because from my perspective, you were against a lot of just everything that I had to offer. Not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying
No, I
like,
understand.
we're trying to
I
understand.
understand the question, and I got a great answer for that. Go to Walmart, pick yourself up a 50-pound bag of dog food, and put it in the cart. And then say to yourself as you're putting that in the cart, imagine I walked around with this all day long, and I couldn't put it down. And I had to carry it with me through the store. And I had to sit with it in the car. And I had to function with it at work.
I get what you're saying.
You would be like, to hell with that,
Mhm.
because that's what you're doing. You're carrying around a 50-pound bag or a 100-pound bag of cement or dog food or whatever you want to call it. But I guarantee you, most people, when they pick up that 50-pound bag of dog food in Walmart or any other store, is thinking, God, this thing's heavy, and I don't like this, as they throw it in the cart.
Yeah.
But
So
they do it anyways, because they have to.
I mean, if everything's uncomfortable, if
Right.
putting your seatbelt on is uncomfortable,
Wiping your butt is uncomfortable.
you're going to be not only in an uncomfortable and angry mood all the time, but you're just not going to do it. And then after he lost 50 pounds, we started a walking challenge, which is another video on the channel. You know, he was kind of against it at first, but I challenged him, like officially challenged him. You know, he couldn't say no to that. And so we did this 30-day walking challenge, and you lost another 10, 12 pounds. And it was only 30 days after, you know, he dropped 50 pounds and plateaued with no exercise. And then somewhere between, you know, the middle and the end of the challenge, you realize, you know, this ain't bad. You know, at first you were kind of, you know, had a struggling time with it. You know, your heart couldn't keep up. And then after the 30 days, you know, you're basically racing me to the end.
Yep.
So I feel like there's a huge difference in just the mentality that goes into, can I do this? Will I do this? I've done this. There are people out there who are near 500 pounds who can barely walk.
Yeah,
What
but
do you-
I gotta tell you, I blame technology, the remote on the TV. When I was a kid, we used to have to get up to change the channel or turn the volume up or down or move the antennas on the TV. It was a given. You know, society changes. As we get these luxuries, we tend to relax more and more. And the more you relax, the more and more problems you're going to encounter. So you need to get out. You need to do something. You need to exercise. You need to go to the gym. And I don't care if you do it. If you're 600 pounds and you can only walk from here to the mailbox, Walk from here to the mailbox until you can walk from here to the mailbox 10 times. Then try going around the block. You can do it, and you can do it slowly, like I did.
Right. Like at the
You
beginning of the challenge, it was like, you know, you could go 3,000 steps without stopping, and then at the end, we're doing 10,000 steps.
Well, but I commend you because you never stopped and said, or made me not stop. You never pushed me. You never said, you know, hey, if you're feeling like you can't, if you need to let's take a break.
Yeah, that's important because I've been there.
Took a break.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I when I first started running, I could barely run a quarter mile.
Right.
You know, but I just said okay. Came back the next day, tried it again, and then eventually it was a third of a mile and a half a mile, and then 20 miles.
20 miles.
I guess the main message to people who are thinking about losing weight is, well, yeah, it's difficult to move your body when you are that heavy, and it's difficult to do that, but there is no question that it will help you lose weight faster. And when you're that big, like right now you want to lose weight slowly, right? But when you're that big, the best thing you can do for your health, and that's the main reason why he lost weight was for his health,
right,
is to lose that weight. And eventually it will get easier. You just have to be persistent and you have to push through, and eventually you can get to where you want to be.
Amen.
What does it feel like going from almost 300 pounds to about 230?
I have more drive, so I have more energy to expel.
Mhm.
I do more things. I don't tire so easily. There's a life out there, and you can live it, or you can let it take advantage of you.
And then I guess my last question was, do you have any advice for anyone who's struggling with weight loss? I know we just covered that, but if you want to say anything to just get your thoughts out there.
Don't get discouraged. Even if you make a mistake, don't get discouraged. Just try harder each time and keep going, because the end is there. Don't try to do it in 2 months or 2 weeks. Give yourself a year. 2 years if you want. It didn't get on there in 2 weeks. It ain't going to come off in 2 weeks.
Learn from your mistakes, and the more that you fail, the more you'll learn to succeed. Yeah, check out the book, Eat More and Lose Weight. It's out, and you can hopefully learn something from it. And it's helped my dad lose 60 pounds. It's helped me lose almost 90 pounds. And it's going to help a lot more people. So,
Amen.